I'm gonna get back on Charlie Sheen, but it's getting close to World AIDS Day, and we were gonna do something on this anyway. But a lot of churches in the black communities, in the Latino communities, if they're not standing up or doing anything, working with HIV in their local areas, they need to, because the virus continues to grow and continue to spread in black and brown communities. And the whole thing for the past couple of decades is that it's because men on the down low. I'm not doubting that there are men who sleep around, who are married to women or dating women who sleep around. But then we got to look at it too. There's a lot of man sharing that happens in the black community where you have men who are able to sleep with so many different women and still give them children. Now, if this man got 10 children from 10 different women in the same community, what if that man was HIV positive? Couldn't it be a thought that he could also possibly get him HIV as well? What's up? It's your guy Dawson from D&D TV. I am here along with Miss D. Miss D, say what's up to the people.
What's up, people?
Okay, Miss D, you saw in the news today, as well as I did, and many others around the United States and the world, that Charlie Sheen came out today. It was on the Today Show with Matt Laurie, and just basically stated that he is, in fact, HIV positive. And when I saw this interview, I heard the entire interview. And I kind of likened it, or remembered when Magic Johnson came out, almost, what has it been, like 2 decades ago, and basically said that he was HIV positive. But it was a different time than it is now, because we know with all the advancements that they have with pharmaceutical companies and that they're doing with medicine for individuals affected with HIV, that life expectancy is pretty much basically, it's like you're going to live a normal life. And of course, being Charlie Sheen, with the money he has, he's going to get the best care. But his coming out and stating his HIV positive status also was met with criticism because of the past that Charlie Sheen has had with prostitutes. He denounced that he did any kind of needle injection, drug use, or anything like that. But a lot of people are still, kind of like, trying to figure out, like, how exactly did you contract this when you said that you used protection all these times with prostitutes? What do you have to say about this, Ms. G?
Well, he said that he used protection since after the fact he found out that he was HIV positive 4 years ago. He didn't make any reference, to my knowledge, not with what I read. I will admit, I did not watch the interview. I read a lot of what he was talking about, and he said that ever since he found out he was HIV positive, he has used protection with every single person except 2 people. That's what he said.
Wow. A lot of people in comments and everywhere on blogs were talking about, is this another, of course, if you're HIV positive, you're HIV positive. But the fact is that the attitude behind Charlie Sheen, I mean, do you think he has an ego?
Yes, he has a very cocky, arrogant, narcissistic attitude.
Yeah.
As far as I know, listen, Charlie Sheen has admitted to drug use, using multiple persons, sleeping with multiple prostitutes, call girls, saying he slept with over 200 women. After he found out that he was HIV positive, he still was sleeping with a bunch of women, and I know that he said that people were extorting him for money because they knew his status. It's going to be interesting as time goes on to see if more women come out and say that they did not know he was HIV positive. Or if someone comes out and say, hey, I contracted HIV from Charlie Sheen, because to me, even though he's now coming out with it, his lifestyle and the type of lifestyle he said he was living seemed irresponsible to me.
Gotcha. Definitely, we're at a different time with individuals who are HIV positive or living with AIDS. Like I stated, that they can live longer if you are, going to your doctor consistently, keeping appointments, doing the right things. You can live a full life. But Ms. D, there are those who are HIV positive or who do have AIDS who are, still living in communities, and I'm talking about black people now, where the stigma of HIV, it just is like you still have people who are dying of AIDS-related symptoms because they're not consistently going to medical places getting checked out. They're not going to their doctors. A lot of them, the stigma that many people feel in black and brown communities, they don't have the boldness to come out or to say, like Charlie Sheen did, or anyone else, that, I'm HIV positive or I have AIDS.
Well, Charlie Sheen is wealthy, number one.
Yeah.
He's wealthy and he's able to have HIV and still get people to sleep with him and communicate with him and be around him versus someone in the community who's a regular person. I don't know if you HIV, even for Charlie Sheen, even for Magic Johnson and different people, it still carries a certain stigma.
It does.
And that stigma is even bigger when we know that you are behaving very irresponsibly, sexually, and that's the reason you called it, not because you were in what you consider a committed relationship and someone didn't inform you or someone stepped out on you and brought that back to you. You look at it, well, I look at it differently versus, someone that I know had no idea, this person they were, dedicating their life to, they got HIV, versus someone who I know is routinely sleeping with prostitutes and multiple people. Yeah, you behaved irresponsible. If you was not as irresponsible, then, he doesn't even know who he possibly could have got HIV from. He can't even narrow it down. So that person could still be out there spreading it.
Yeah, Ms. D, I like what you said because many people would like for individuals to have that distinction of the stigma that if this person is a prostitute or a porn star, then, people say, oh, well, I'm not surprised, or they're sleeping with multiple sex partners, then I'm not, surprised that they have anything because they were out there sleeping with everybody. But I think that the stigma, it would be for the person who has risky behavior as well as for the person who didn't, who was cheated on in a marriage. I think the stigma is there for anyone who's HIV positive. And, I'm going to say, I worked in a church down here in Miami, a big church, a black church. And of course, we were talking about the stigma in the black communities. And we stood up one day and wore red shirts for World AIDS Day, which is December 1st. And I remember after we stood up, the congregation, they acknowledged that we were wearing red for World AIDS Day. Right after we sat down there, it was time for the congregational prayer. Pastor, minister, prophetess got up and she basically said in the prayer, God, and help us to live right so we won't catch any diseases because we know we got to live this way and all this. And my thing was, why would she say that? Because not only did she say something that was not correct, there are people who did do the right things. They lived right. They grew up in the church and their spouse went and gave them HIV. And in that particular service, there was a little girl who was born with HIV. So when you have people who get in congregations and on television and in pulpits and in conventions and say stupid things like this when they don't know, you need to sit down because you're not called by God and you just there to be seen.
Well, isn't that what a lot of people are doing in churches?
A lot of people are doing it in churches. But Ms. D, but I think churches, and I'm going to get back on Charlie Sheen, but it's getting close to World AIDS Day, and we were going to do something on this anyway. But a lot of churches in the black communities, in the Latino communities, if they're not standing up or doing anything, working with HIV in their local areas, They need to, because the virus continues to grow and continue to spread in black and brown communities. And the whole thing for the past couple of decades is that it's because men on the down low. I'm not doubting that there are men who sleep around, who are married to women or dating women who sleep around. But then we got to look at it too. There's a lot of man sharing that happens in the black community, where you have men who are able to sleep with so many different women and still give them children. Now, if this man got 10 children from 10 different women in the same community, what if that man was HIV positive? Couldn't it be a thought that he could also possibly get him HIV as well?
You know, people don't think in the long term of their health and well-being. And, you know, it is forever a mystery to me, honestly, why people accept certain things in life. And that's a whole another conversation.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, you have certain women that want to fight over men who are not worth anything. They're not even worth their weight in salt.
Yes.
And they will let these people impregnate them, know that this person is sleeping around with multiple people. And, you know, let me give the men a chance. There are some good men out there.
Yeah, there are. You know, I know Charlie Sheen's going to be good. Like he said, he's always winning. I don't think this is a sympathy confession or anything that he wants sympathy
I
or
guess
anybody.
he has won in the HIV race. You know, he's always winning. Yeah, okay.
But, you know, he said he's always winning. But, Ms. D, look at this. You have to look at how things are timed, too. World AIDS Day is December 1st. He came out with this, what is this, November 19th? 18th?
Yes, what, two weeks?
2 weeks ago. So it's like, I'm not saying, you know, I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist or whatnot, but I mean, endorsements are going to come. All this stuff, being the poster child. You know, we've had Magic Johnson for so long. Now it'll be Charlie Sheen, somebody famous or maybe both, to speak out on these issues, because whether if it's going to be used in that way or not, HIV is still something that needs to continue to be discussed and talked about, not only in black and brown communities, but also around the world. It's like we can't fall asleep on this, and we can't think because we got a Tripla, Truvada, and all these other different pills that are out that, you know, it's a cure. I believe, and I talked to you about this, I believe with the different things that are, the pills and stuff that are coming out, that hopefully we'll be getting closer to the cure. But Ms. D, you're one of those people who's like a conspiracy theorist who believe that there's no money in the cure.
Really? No, I did not say I didn't believe that there is no cure. I said as far as Big Pharma is concerned, the money is in the treatment,
exactly,
and not the cure.
That's what I'm saying. You believe that the money is in the treatment, not in the cure. Yeah. And so if you have pharmaceutical companies that are making, you know, billions of dollars off of, you know, these pills, I mean, to find a cure, that's taken away from their bank.
Yeah, you know, they start curing all these people of this disease. Yeah, they already making a lot of money off the HIV medication that's out there now.
Yeah. There's a new pill, Truvada, that came out a couple of months ago or a year ago, and basically it was offered to the public for people who are HIV negative, who may be in a relationship with someone who is HIV positive, or if they're, you know, having risky behavior and they don't want to use protection. If you take Truvada daily, you know, it will sort of kind of like, you know, prevent you from contracting HIV. But again, with that medicine, I mean, that's a lot of money to spend to get Truvada if your insurance doesn't cover it and if you're trying to get it yourself. So when you talk about poor communities where HIV seems to be more prevalent, you know, those people ain't got an extra, what, $700-800 for Truvada or whatever it is, or a couple $100 for that.
No, but you know what they do have? An extra $10 for a box of condoms. I would advise that they use them if they insist on having a relationship, and I'm assume that they love that person.
Yeah.
You know, if they're, you know, intentionally having a relationship with someone that's HIV positive, and there's nothing wrong with that. But, you know, condoms still does good as long as it's on right and it's not defective
Yeah.
on protecting you from getting HIV. So
Yeah. You're right. Consistent use of condoms. Consistent use of condoms correctly. It does, provide, safer sex. So again, Charlie Sheen, he gonna be all right. Everybody else, they're gonna be all right. Just take care of yourself. Take care of your health. And if you are a person who, is in a relationship with somebody and you haven't told them your status, I mean, it is your responsibility. And if you're in a relationship and you just, feel the need that, hey, we need to go get tested or I need to go get tested, do it. I think if you're in a marriage, or you just dating somebody, still go get tested anyway. Know your status because you are your own first line of defense. No one's going to look out for you like you're going to look out for you. And, definitely if you're in those communities now, I used to say a long time ago that the churches need to stand up. And of course, I think, they need to say more, but you can't just leave your life up to that. You know more. We got social media. We got the internet. Everything you want to know is in Google. It's right there at your fingertips. If you need to go to an organization, to a place that can help you if you're HIV positive or have a family member that's not getting treatment and they need it, we know what to do. And don't be afraid to access those organizations within your community. Until next time, I'm your guy Dawson. Say goodbye to the people, Miss D.
Goodbye, people.
It's time to live better, live happy, live healthier, and own your stuff. Peace.